I'm not okay, but I will be. I just need some time. Just know that I tried really hard, guys. Okay? Just know that I tried really hard. I did really care about him. Um, I wasn't in it for money or clout, okay? So please stop with that.
Fran is a hero. I genuinely believe this from the bottom of my heart. Like, I know, like, X is in the title of this video and he's in the thumbnail. He's the famous guy. He's the one that I made you all click on this video for. But Fran is the real hero of the story, and I'm going to die on this hill. First, I should tell you about xQc, just in case you're one of the 5 people on Earth who hasn't heard of this guy yet. xQc is one of the biggest streamers of all time, among other, a very, very long and storied career. But the most recent thing he's done of note is a $100 million contract with Kick. Now, that might be cap, that might not be real, doesn't fucking matter. All you need to know is that he's a big shot. He's one of the biggest big shots to ever walk the earth, at least in terms of streamers. That's xQc, and he dated this girl named Fran. This is Fran. She's a streamer. I don't know that much about her. I kind of started following her recently, but she and xQc were dating for a while, not engaged. They never got married or anything like that. X and Fran were dating, right? And the way that they started dating was pretty interesting. xQc hits up Fran earlier this year in like January-ish. You can imagine that Fran's pretty hyped about this. X is this big shot streamer, and she's like, ooh, who's this guy? I mean, is he talking to me? They're talking for like a few months, very normal. And on April 15th, they get together. I framed this picture in a very specific way. You know what I'm talking about already, and chat clearly also knows what I'm talking about. And I just want to say real quick, you guys are fucked up, okay? That's really immature. Cut that shit out. Now, that's the bit I was going to run until I saw Fran herself on stream draw this picture, okay? This is Fran, and this is xQc. And then there's these 2 other guys down here. And I was like, okay, Fran's in on the joke too. I take it back. I take it back. You guys are funny. So Fran and xQc get together April 15th. And Fran is scheduled to move in with xQc on May 11th. You heard me right, May 11th. And that's really fast. I think it's really fast. Fran agrees with me that it's really fast. She said it's on stream. And we're going to get to that, but I just want to throw that out there. It is really fast, but it makes sense for them. And I'm going to talk about that much later in the video, okay? So they get together. They move in together on May 11th. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit in time here, but an important detail is that in this interval from April 15th to May 11th, xQc is on a trip to Las Vegas. And I think Fran is out of town for this time, so that is relevant in the very near future. So there's a third person entering the picture named Adept. This is Adept right here, not Fran. And this is the person that, as you can probably see here, was dating xQc and then wasn't anymore for a little bit. Now, I am relatively new to this scoop. I'm relatively new to this story. And so I don't know all of the details of what was going on between them. But I do know that Adept is currently in court suing xKC, I think trying to get a divorce through where she gets half of his assets. However, they were never officially married. I'm just trying to paint a little bit of a picture who Adept is. I had not heard of her before this whole thing started, and that's not me being like who mega-lulling her or whatever. That's just because I don't know that many streamers. But what I've learned about Adept is that she doesn't seem to like xQc very much, and she also doesn't seem to like Fran very much. And actually, I don't think there's that many people she likes at all. And I don't think, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't seem like there's that many people that like her either. And so, on May 15th, Ada posts this thing to her Instagram story. It's 2 pictures. One is of her with Nicolas Cage. I'm not sure how that's relevant, but it was mentioned on stream by Fran, so I'm just repeating it to you. And another picture that has a wedding ring in it. From what I've gathered from all this, Adept's Insta story at this point implies that she was on the trip with xQc. So you can see kind of like where things might be getting a little weird. It's like, oh, my boyfriend is going to a trip in the same city as his ex-girlfriend at the same time, which is a little weird. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's kind of weird. On the same day that Adept posts this story, Fran calls her up and is like, hey, what's going on? Why are you posting about this thing that says you're in town at the same time as my boyfriend? And I think she's gotten some flack for this because there are people are saying, oh, why didn't you just talk to xQc directly? xQc is a streamer and he's live for like 14 hours a day. It's hard to get a hold of X a lot of the time. You can't interrupt him when he's streaming, at least not easily. It can be done. Adept has done it before, but generally speaking, you don't want to interrupt him when he's streaming. And so Fran, I think, is probably kind of like really antsy about this and is like, I need answers. I need to figure out what's going on here. And so she calls up Adept, not knowing all of Adept's history. And so they get to talking. They get to talking about xQc. By the way, this is a little bit difficult for me to follow because Fran talks about this on stream, knowing that chat and the public all are already following the story and they already know what's going on. If I'm getting anything wrong and you happen to know a lot about this, please leave a comment correcting me because I would love more information about this to make sure I'm getting stuff right here. So Fran calls Adept, right? And they talk on the phone a little bit. Adept ends up driving out to talk to Fran like in person, and they get in the car together and they're talking. And what Adept says ends up implying that xQc is actually like this horrible abusive boyfriend who's like assaulting her and verbally berating her and essaying her and all this shit. It is really scary, I think, if you're a girl and you get a call from a girl saying like, hey, that guy you're seeing right now, he's fucked up. He abused me in my past relationship. Because if you're a girl, you know that like guys can switch on you really, really fast. And so Fran's really scared at this point, but I want to show you in Fran's own words, like how she reacted to this news.
The car, right? And I told you guys, 3-hour car. She's saying he's abusive, and she starts playing her proof. The whole time she was playing videos of him getting verbally abused by her. The videos is straight up her flaming the fuck out of him and fighting him, and he's on the defense the whole time.
Remember, this is Adept with her curated recorded messages trying to prove to Fran that X is abusive. Like, she gets whatever recordings she's got, whatever like story she wants to tell, she's fully in control of the narrative, and she still can't convince Fran that X was abusive in that relationship. That's big. Like, if you control the narrative to that extent and you still can't sell someone, you're capping, right? Like, you gotta be capping at that point. Fran is hearing all this, and she realizes, like, wait a sec. First of all, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And second of all, why does she have all this saved? Why is she recording this shit? Why would you do that? Why would you record these arguments unless you wanted to prove something later on? For example, in a court of law, when you're trying to get some dough out of the guy that you were dating for 5 years or whatever it was. She's thinking all this and goes, oh fuck, I gotta get out of here. She doesn't say this out loud, I don't think. She's still kind of nodding along, you know, like, that's crazy, that's crazy. But she gets out of the car and she goes back inside and she goes to see xQc. I think at this point, xQc knows what they're talking about because she says on stream, he looked so remorseful when I came back inside, xQc. X knows that she was talking to Adept and X cheated on Fran during this trip, and Fran is like, okay, you did this earlier on. So this was like at this point in the timeline. So like in this time before they've actually moved in together, that's when it happens. And I think Fran's like, okay, that's messed up, but you made a mistake. You are genuinely being remorseful. She says, I've never seen a grown man cry like this before. She says that to chat after the fact when she's streaming about this. And so she forgives him. And then the following week, these two team up against Adept because what she did was also kind of messed up here. Adept is like fake warning about this relationship that Fran's getting into and trying to paint X as like this horrible monster who's going to turn on her. And they're both understandably pissed off about this. And they say, okay, we're going to get her back. Fran's going to like fake that she still buys Adept's story and X is going to like play dumb, which was kind of a mistake, I think. For one, it's kind of wrong of them to do this, I think, just from like a moral standpoint. And Fran also says on stream that like she was wrong for this. She admits to lying. She's like, this was my big mistake. I own up to this. I don't think I should have messed with Adept in this way. So, you know what? I respect her for that if you own up to your mistakes like that. I do, however, think this was a mistake on a tactical level because this very explicitly turns you into an enemy of Adepts, much like this video probably will for me. God save me. Because you don't want to be an enemy of Adept. Fran does not give Adept what she wants. Adept is trying to, like, play Fran as this card to show X as, like, this horrible monster or whatever, but it's not working. Even though she's pissed off about this, she's still kind of, like, holding firm to her sense of her moral rightness and saying, like, cheating's bad, but it's not assault bad. It's not domestic violence bad. It's not sexual abuse bad. But Adept is now pissed because her move backfires so badly against her, and she doubles down, okay? So, May 22nd, Adept goes live, and she kind of, like, rants about the X thing, and I actually want to show, like, a clip of Fran's imitation of Adept because I thought it was really funny. That's Adept with the devil ears and the
She went live,
you know.
and she starts using that May 15th as a weapon. She's like, ask me about May 15th, ask me about May 15th. I didn't buy this ring. That's a truthful statement. I didn't buy this ring. That's a truthful statement. She was going on stream talking about, that's a truthful statement. Somebody called me. This ring, I didn't buy it.
I never want to fight with Fran. I never want to beef with Fran ever because she's going to be really funny about making fun of me, and I'm going to feel really hurt and insecure, and I'm going to start crying, and I'm going to be watching her making fun of me, and I'm going to be like, I feel like shit, but that's really funny what she's saying. I can never let me beef with Fran. If I beef with Fran, just shoot me in the face.
She's pretty much hinting that he essayed me, okay? After I told her it was not essay a million times, guys. I told her every single time, when I say no, he fucks off. And I made that so clear, and she's not showing that conversation for some reason. She's not showing the proof that I said that a million times. I even said that to her recently, bro. I said that shit to her recently. I said, he never essayed me. Why in the fuck are you trying to insinuate that he did such heinous things?
First of all, Adept's going live insinuating this shit about X that's not true, and that Fran has denied and continues to deny to this day. Rightfully so, because it's her business, not anyone else's, what her relationship with X was like. But Adept is trying to, I think at this point, like, turn the tides of the public opinion against X. And as far as I can tell, I don't think it really worked. So after that, May 29th, I think Adept might have DDoSed X. DDoS stands for a distributed denial of service attack. It is basically sending so many, like, requests or pings or whatever to a specific, like, IP address or online location that it can't process all of the traffic, and it shuts things down. Like, you just can't connect to the internet, you can't get anything done. It's not confirmed that it was Adept. It could have been just a random xQc hater. There are a lot of those. It would have been very, very convenient for it to be Adept in this story. I don't know if it was her or not, but if it was, well played, Adept. X then goes back to a house that he owns in Texas. Adept has taken over. She's like, all the bills are in her name. The lock has changed, presumably, and X can't get in. He goes to stay with Pokenjichi, and then he talks to Adept about this. Somehow, X ends up cheating on Fran again with Adept. Not long after sleeping with X, Adept posts a story about a wedding ring. She calls up Fran and says, "Why do you care if a husband is sleeping with his wife?" Now this is bonkers, okay? Because I don't know if you knew this or not, but Adept and X are not married at this point. None of these people are married. And so for Adept to say this to Fran is insane. Why would you say that? That's crazy. And it turns out that Fran knows why Adept is saying this.
She calls me. Guys, she calls me. And you know what the fuck she said on the phone? The first thing she said when I answered?
Tell him, Fran.
Guys, do you want to know what she fucking said? She fucking says, "Why do you care if a husband is sleeping with his wife. Because you know what she was trying to say? She was trying to bait me. She was trying to bait me. She was trying to go, oh, why do you care about your husband sleeping with his wife? So I could be like, you slept with Felix? So she could be like, see, Felix is my husband. You just, she's trying to bait me into, I'm not fucking stupid. Okay? So I straight up said, he is not your husband.
That's so smart. I don't know if I would have caught that. I probably would have been like, you're sleeping with Felix? And like a dumbass. And if I had said that, and she recorded me, maybe that helps flip the case in at its favor. Maybe X loses like half his belongings if it's ruled that they are actually married. And Fran knows this. She puts all this together like on the fly while she's calling Adept. I think she saved his bacon here. I think that if she had fucked up this one call, this one key moment, I genuinely believe that Adept could have put together a case that would have taken X down, would have cut his net worth in half. And she does this for this guy after like the second time that he's cheated on her. And she's still like in his corner saying like, I gotta defend him. I know that like he's fucked me over, but she still knows that like this is wrong. X is a juicer and kind of a dumbass, but Adept is like a monster. I don't think she does this unless she has like this deep-seated grudge against Fran or against X or against both of them, where she wants to hurt them emotionally really badly. And frankly, kind of succeeded, although I think that she's still going to come out the loser in this scenario. There's still the problem where X, cheated on Fran. Like, we still have to address that. And Fran talks about this as well on her stream, but as like a summary, X was kind of put in a bad spot. Just from this stream alone, I've kind of seen like all the different moves that Adept can play, all the ways in which she can like twist words around to hurt people and get them to do what she wants. And so I think that like at this point, Fran kind of knows that like X is being played, he's being manipulated, he's caught in like this web of just psychological torment. And he may have cracked and he may have cheated on Fran a second time, pretty bad, but he's still in trouble. He still kind of needs help, and Fran's there to help him. Okay, I'm going to show you one more clip. I almost didn't want to show this clip in the video. If I were the one speaking, I would be really hesitant for someone to clip this. So I'm going to blur her face for this next part because, God, if it were me, I would have wanted my face blurred.
He got taken advantage of, okay, guys? And that's why I came back, because if your significant other says that they got taken advantage of, you don't fucking make them feel bad. You don't abandon them. You take care of them, okay? And that's what I did.
Subscriber notice. Jesus Christ.
Fuck! Sorry. So I fucking flew my ass over there quite literally 2 days after the whole event. I flew my ass so fast. I dropped everything, like work and shit, because he needed me, he needed somebody, and he needed support, and I was there. I was there. So you can get fucking mad at me all you want for quote unquote staying with a cheater, but at the time, all I know was that he was hurting and I was there. And I had to be there. That's all I cared about.
She's right. She's just right. This is something that I've seen Dr. K talk about a lot. He's a very popular streamer. He does like psychology stuff on YouTube. I'll edit in a picture of him or whatever. But whenever there's like relationship drama, whenever someone's complaining about the person they're seeing, the internet always says the same thing. They're just like, break up with him, break up with her, get a divorce, lawyer up, go to the gym, the whole shtick. And he always says, and this is something that I believe too, that when you see these things happen, like these relationships, you only see the bad, right? You only see like what went wrong. You don't see what went right. You don't see like how nice X and Fran's relationship was together. You don't see all those little moments that they shared when they were in love with each other. And you don't get like that's worth fighting for. That's worth defending because, you know, X fucked up. He fucked up bad. I'm not going to say otherwise, but the way that Fran talks about X and even the way they interacted later in the stream, I could see that they really did have something special. Like they had a chemistry, they had a bond that is hard to come by. That's really rare. And you know, I've talked about this in videos before. I talked about this in the autism video about how like there's just so much to a relationship that the outside world doesn't see. There's so many little things that go into a relationship that nobody else outside of the relationship ever knows about. They never find out. And so when Fran says that X needed her in that moment, and Fran says that up to that point, it was worth fighting for, it was worth going back to X for, I buy it. I believe her. Because I don't get to make the decision of whether or not their relationship was worth fighting for. Only she does, and only xQc does. Okay? So if you're one of these people who's saying, like, why would you go back to the cheater, like, shit like that, just keep it to your fucking self, okay? Just respect that when someone's in a relationship, they call the shots for their relationship, okay? You don't get to take that away from them. You don't get to say otherwise. All right? All right. Cool. So around June 10th, she flies out to take care of X. They are trying to patch things up. And in her words, it was actually pretty good at that point. I think that she forgives him. He apologizes, presumably, for whatever happened in there. And they have a good few weeks together at the Poke and Gigi house. I still don't know who those people are. Someone explain to me who Poke and Gigi are. So June 30th, on Fran's birthday, X just leaves the house randomly. And then something happens that I think is called the Tour de Fran. And what I'm gathering is that Fran runs out of the house trying to find X, understandably, because this is like the third fucking time this is happening now. So she's freaking the fuck out and she's going out trying to find X. She's like breaks down crying in the park because she's like, where is he? What's going on? And just listen, Tour de Fran's funny, but it's also really fucked up. You can't be making jokes like that, but it's also really funny. And I have to admit it's really funny, but also stop. But that's messed up. You can't say shit like that. But it's really funny. I gotta admit, it's pretty fucking funny. Anyway.
Full panic mode. That's when I went to the park and I started crying because I thought he was going to her. Okay, and that's
her being Adept, obviously.
That's how the whole drama with Gigi and Poke went down. I'm not gonna get too much into that. I don't
know what the drama with Poke and Gigi is.
And he told me that he still loves her. Okay, guys? And that was when I packed my bags and left.
And as far as I'm aware, that's when Fran exits the story. That's when she's done. And that's where I get off to as well. All right? So here's the thing. I do not condone anything xQc did. I think that obviously cheating is wrong. I think obviously telling your girlfriend that you still love your ex is really bad. That's wrong too, of course. That all goes without saying. However, xQc did this stream with Dr. K, like I think a month or so after all this went down. I watched this interview all the way through, and what I learned is that X is somebody who, for his whole life, never believed that he's worthy of anything good. He always would get like nervous when he got like a new phone or something. He would be holding the phone being like, oh man, I can't drop this. I don't want to scratch it up. Like I got to be so careful with it or whatever. And his whole life, no matter how hard he tried, he'd always break the phone. He'd always crack the screen. He'd always get some scratches on the back. He'd always find some way to fuck it up. And over the years, he learned that, like, I just always fuck it up. I don't get to have anything nice because I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna mess it up. And that's how he's shaped his entire life and his entire career up to this point. He says how he like thrives in chaos, right? Like he wants to cause drama, he wants to cause problems, he wants to cause all this shitstorms and whatever. And it's because he thrives in this environment, because he doesn't see himself as someone who can be anyone else. He can't he can't be kind and good and nice and all these things, because if he tries and really believes and fights for something that he wants and tries to, build something good, he's so afraid of breaking it and burning it all down. And I think that's what happened in this relationship with Fran. It was only like, maybe a month or two that it had happened, but this relationship to him was like the first ray of sunshine he's seen in a really long time, you know? And this is a guy who has learned over the years that whenever I go outside, it rains, it pours. And it's to the point where, like, he doesn't even believe in sunshine anymore. He goes outside, and if it's raining, it's raining. If it's not raining, it just feels wrong to him. It's like the rain's coming. The rain is coming. And he'll, like, fucking, I don't know. He's going to dump a bucket of water on his head because he's so uncomfortable with the idea of it not raining, with the idea of sunshine. And I think that that's what happened with his relationship with Fran, right? Like, here comes this girl who's so pretty and smart and who gets his humor, and she's not just in it for the money. She connects with him on this deep, deep emotional level, and he is taken aback by this. He's like, I've never had something that I cared about so much, that I've loved so much, that I've wanted to protect so much. And he's sitting there, he's holding the phone, he's holding his phone, and he's like, I can't drop this. I can't drop this no matter what I do. And the pressure gets so intense for him that he's like, I need to scratch this phone. I need to break this myself, because if I don't, it's going to get broken again later anyway, and it's going to hurt so much more when it does. And I don't think that excuses his behavior. I think he fucked this up really badly, obviously. No one can deny that. But I think that I get him. I get what happened. And my hope from the bottom of my heart is that now that he's been through this, now that he's seen that there can be sunshine, the next time he gets that light in his life, be it a relationship, be it a friend, be it like I don't even know, like a game he's playing that he really loves, a creative project he's really invested in, whatever it is he does next that brings him that light, I hope that he's seen through his relationship with Fran that I can be happy. I can see this through. I can hold the phone and not drop it. And I hope he does well. I genuinely think that. Felix, if you're watching, you have no idea who the fuck I am. Sorry I talked about your personal life for so long, but for all the shit that you get up to, and it's a lot of shit, and it's very funny, but also very concerning, but for all that shit, I'm on your side, man. I want to see you succeed. I believe in you. Fran, if you're watching this, you were amazing through all of that. You're a champion. You're a hero. I adore you. I didn't know who you were coming into this, but I'm a Fran stan for life now. Stan Francisco, all the way. And I really marvel at how well you navigated the situation. You didn't let Adept get to you. You didn't let her sell you on the lie. You saw through her tricks. You saw through all the BS. And you stood by X at a time when he really needed you. And even when he wronged you really, really badly, like he fucked up. He fucked up big time. But you knew in your heart, like, he may have made these mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to go to prison. He doesn't deserve to lose half his net worth. And you saved him, I think. You saved him. You're great. Thanks so much. And the last character in the story is Adept. I don't know if she wants to hear it from me right now, but Adept, if you're watching this, I'm going to try to do you the best I can, okay? I'm going to try to be real with you here. Let me tell you a little bit about my mom. I don't want to go too deep into this, but my mom is someone who struggles to admit when she's wrong about something. It hurts a lot for her, I think, to be wrong about stuff and for people to throw it in her face and be like, oh, you were so wrong about XYZ, like, why did you say this, that, the other thing? But I've come to understand that it is really, really hard to admit when you're wrong. And I've had to do this too. In my past relationships, I screwed up on really bad levels. I think not quite as bad as xQc levels, but like the next notch below that, okay? Like I was right below xQc in terms of fucking up. And I also had to admit to myself that I was really, really wrong, that I had done this girl that I love so, so dirty. And that almost killed me, and I am not joking about that. It almost broke me. It almost destroyed me. I get it. I get how hard this shit is. Okay? It's so hard to admit when you were wrong about something. But you gotta do it. That's it. You just gotta do it. Because if you don't admit when you're wrong about something, and you keep digging yourself deeper and deeper into that hole, you never get out of it, man. You're stuck there forever. I think it would be sad. I think it would be genuinely sad if you never got out of that hole. From the bottom of my heart, I don't want to see you go through that. My mom has been wrong about a lot of stuff and has not admitted it for like 20 years, like since I was a kid. I guess like 26, 27 years. I'm almost 27. I mean, I've watched her like get older and older, get tired. Like she used to be like a flaming like ball of rage all the time, but she gets more and more tired. She's more and more like haunted and getting really skinny, like unhealthily skinny. And now she's like over 50 years old and she's just like this haunted shell of a person. It's not pretty. That's what I'm trying to say. It's that path. I've seen women, at least one woman, go down that path, and it's not pretty. It does not look good. If you're still watching Adept, by some fucking miracle, if you're still watching, please start climbing. Start climbing out of the hole. Drop this case. Drop all this shit. Say you're sorry. Say your apologies to the people who need them. Fran, whoever else. Just ask yourself, like, is this really worth it? Is all this shit that I'm putting myself through, through, Fran through, these lawyers, these judges, all these people, is this worth it? Is this really worth it deep down inside? And you know what, Adept? If you turn around right now, if you start climbing out of the hole, I will defend you until the day I die. All right? I'm a nobody, but if you make a statement tomorrow saying that you apologize and you're dropping shit and all of that, I will put my full weight behind you and I will defend you till my dying breath, okay? Because I know how hard it is to admit you're wrong, and I believe that people should get a chance to be forgiven for stuff like this, okay? I believe that if you apologize really genuinely, if you dig deep and acknowledge what you did was wrong, I do not think there's a sin on this earth that you should not be forgiven for. That's my message from this shitter of a streamer to you. If you don't buy it, If you don't want to take what I say seriously, that's your right. You are more famous and richer and prettier than I am. But for what it's worth, those are my 2 cents. And thank you for listening. So that's my video about the whole fucking xQc Adept Fran thing. Thanks for watching. If you've gotten to the end of this, I guess, hour-long-ish video now, probably maybe a little bit longer. I haven't done a video essay like this in a long time. I've been doing music. I've been doing other stuff, working at a job, God forbid. But I will be returning with more, Twitch drama stuff soon. If you like this video and you want to see more of me, I made a video about autism. It's kind of like maybe a few months old now, but I'll put a link to it somewhere on screen right now. It's very heavy. It's very personal, much like the end of this video, but you can take a look at it if you're in for a cry or something like that. It'll give you a good sense of who I am as a person. And thanks for being with me on this crazy hour-long journey. This video is really long. I hope it was interesting to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in for me, and I think everyone else who's involved with this. But god damn, does it make for good television. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Fork 'em devils, etc.